Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Joel and I'm from BlackPandaStudios. Yeah, wow, another video already. It's crazy. But today I'm going to be showing you the progress I've been making on Orbitor, which I'm going to rename because it turns out there is a game already called Orbitor. But for now, I'll leave it be. So yeah, as you can probably see already, we've got the game already looks, like the menu already looks a lot nicer. You've got like the background blurred out with a bit of an RGB split towards the edges and some icons. So if I hit play, you can see we've got a little rollover for these icons. You've got tap to play your best score games played, all that stuff, and then like the blurred out background. This is done by two separate cameras in the scene, one for rendering UI and one for rendering the background. So yeah, if I click play, it fades out. Kind of jolty at the moment, but that's alright. But yeah, I'm dead already. Cool. But yeah, so that's it for the menu. Another thing I've done is it needs a lot of fixing because the orbs still spawn on top of each other due to my code for procedurally generating them. See, that recognizes that as a chain times 2 because you are on top of 2, so technically it's correct, you are on a chain of 2. But yeah, that needs to be fixed. And also that little jolt there needs to be fixed. But yeah, that's all stuff I can fix later. But for now, I'm working on the core gameplay. So if I go up and try and find like a good example of a chain for you guys, I'll show you what I've done. So there you go, chain times 3. And this is a perfect example. There's no overlaps. That's what it should do. Now, chain is sometimes pretty annoying to get out of. So there we go. It should not be that. It's just an annoying bug. But yeah, this will be a chain times... No. Okay. But yeah, if I go to the achievement manager as well and take all these down, and that's not 4chan, that's 4chain, by the way. So yeah, I've got an achievement manager that I can store and add new achievements as I go, and I can show you how that works in code later. But here we go. Here's a chain, and so that's times 4. We now have earned that achievement. 6chain, not yet, because we haven't got a 6chain. But no, that's just an empty slot. That's for nothing. It's just so my code worked properly. Without it, it would always turn... Yeah, it would just always turn on. It needs to be there because for some reason I'm saving to the player prefs. And if you try and access the index 0 in an array, which this is, it's always set to on or earned no matter what. So whatever the first achievement, it was always earned. The reason it's not in this case is because I started index 1, so I had to set the first one to null and then start at 1. So yeah, as you can see, we died. But yeah, click this button, we're back to the menu. We got these little achievements, shop, home. Don't even know we're at home already, and stuff like that. Yeah, leaderboards and settings. So yeah, I'll show you some, or what I've been doing in code basically. Yes. Alright, so if we go first, I'll show off my achievement manager. Just copyright. Basically, it stores a public array of achievements, which is just a structure that holds a name, a boolean to indicate whether or not you've earned it, and how much coin reward you get. Now, basically, I also store a game manager using GameObject.find. Probably not the best way, but for now, it works fine. My FPS is still ridiculously high. I haven't got any lag, so it's okay to use that for now, but probably going to be alternative in the future. So basically, I just have a public void that you can call with a name. It's called award and save achievement. So you write that out, and inside the brackets you put in the name of the achievement you want to award and save. But if you obviously write a typo in code, the achievement won't exist and you'll get an error. But yeah, that doesn't matter because I know what the achievements are, and if I make a typo, I'll fix it, and no one else is working with me, so I can leave it like that. Basically, what this does is it loops through all the achievements in this, and then checks if the achievement at whatever index we are in the loop's name is equal to the name you entered. Then we found the achievement inside of the achievements array that we want to modify. So from then on, we want to check first as well if we have actually earned this achievement, because if we have, then yeah, there's no real point doing this. So if we haven't got this achievement, we want to get the achievement. We want to set earn to true, and we want to also set our coins to plus equal the current achievement's coin reward. So yeah, that's how you get coins at the moment. The coins don't save, so when you reset the game, say you get the achievement, you get the coins, and the game ends, and you reload the game, you'll still have the achievement, but the coins will be gone, because I haven't saved it yet. But yeah, then it just, because you can't save a ball in player prefs, I had to set it as an int, and the ID is just the name of the achievement, so the string of like what you want to label it by, and then the int I'm storing it is just the index at which this achievement was located. And then whenever we awake, so at the start of the game, we set up the game manager and we loop through the achievements, and then we want to check if in the player prefs with the name oh my god, it's really, I can't even explain my own code. Okay, so yeah, so you get int, which is just retrieving it from player prefs, and you want to get the achievement at index i's name, and you want to check if the int saved at that location is equal to the current index in the array, which means you found a match inside of your achievements. Then you want to set that achievement to earned, because you know you've already got it, and then debug.log achievements. Yeah, that just tells you when you've earned the achievement, basically. So to show that in action, it's a bit confusing, but it works, because if I click play and go to the achievement manager, you can see that that is still on. Even if I turn it off, it doesn't remove it from player prefs, so I still have it. But high roller is just if you get a score higher than, I think, 500. I could easily check, but yeah. Champion is if you're the top of the leaderboard globally, which at the moment isn't many people at all, probably like 6 playtesters, so yeah. It's probably going to be a bigger coin reward, and it might be like you get a daily reward as the longer you stay on top, which should be pretty cool. But I'm just going to try and get another achievement for you to see. And it's not as simple as I could just turn them on and then it would save it. It's not how I've set it up. You actually have to earn the achievement. I could change the condition to get the achievement to show it off faster, but yeah. Also addressing a comment from one of my friends, Max, with the heading straight up and just being able to keep going. Before I made the game, I did think of that, because if you can time it perfectly, you'll just move up forever. So I figured having like an oxygen type thing that you retrieve from the atoms, or some sort of resource. That's a bug. If you go off screen, you die. So like some sort of thing that you need to have like oxygen that depletes the longer you are in space. So if I go straight up in the air and hit nothing, this might, damn it. So it's still the best tactic. To do that is still probably the best thing you can do, because that was a chain of 7, so now I've got 6 chain. That was a lot of things on top of each other. But yeah, it's hard to show, but it does happen. Like if I floated up then, yeah. If you float up, I think for more than 4 seconds, that's when your oxygen depletes, and then planets will stop spawning, and you will just say you've died. So yeah, you can go directly up, and it's probably still the best tactic, but you can't cheat the game by just clicking up and just watching it go. Although technically, you still sort of can, because it's probably still the best thing to do. But I'm just, usually, like, it does troll you, like, you will just go like this and miss everything, and as you can see, you died. Nothing will spawn anymore, and you reset. But I'm hoping you guys like the look of this menu, because I really do. And yeah, it's alpha 0.3.3. No, they're not random numbers. It's not alpha yet, it's still pre-alpha, and there's like major, minor, and then a revision, and a revision is just simply a tiny change of like a texture. I changed 3 of these. I've made 3 technical changes, and I haven't really proved much. But I am tracking, and am properly logging what version it is, not just adding random numbers as I see fit, which is pretty fun to do as well. But also continuing on, that's my achievement manager script. Pretty simple, but I'm pretty proud of it, how it works. It's quite efficient, I think. Next is just the level creation. just takes in a public reference of the object, the player, and the minimum spawn. It's just the minimum position you can spawn. Then just a list of orbit zones, blah blah blah, variables. Yeah, this is if you are in the air for greater than or equal to 5 seconds, then finds you and then sets you to dead because you've been floating for too long. Can only spawn an orbit zone if you've been in the air for 2 seconds. Blah blah blah. So this is basically if you can spawn an orbit zone. It sets a previous x and previous y to equal rand x and rand y. That's basically it. Just stores the previous x. So do that. That will probably be nothing at the beginning, and then it will set it up. Do this. Come back, and that way we can use previous x in here to determine things, but we're not. But basically, it was just me trying to perfect spawning, but basically the x is random range between -7 and 7, so that's basically just the area. But then the y is the spawner minimums transform position.y. I could have just asked for a transform over a game object, I'm not actually sure, but that's alright. And then +7, it's just an offset. It's just like this. I could have just, yeah. You know, if the orbit count is less than the maximum number of orbit objects you can have on screen, it adds one. It adds it to the list, and then you instantiate it at the random x and y position with the rotation of quaternion.identity, so it's just basically default values. Reset the timer, then also increment the orbit count, because that doesn't do it automatically. But yeah, I haven't commented that heavily, so I did have to look through it a bit. But this one I've commented pretty well. Oh no, the rotate around object one I have. But yeah, this is just deleting the orbit zone. It just uses triggers, invisible like boxes that sit off screen, that just move up with you and clean up everything that goes off the bottom of the screen. Yeah, game manager just has some stuff like loading in stuff from player prefs and like setting all the values to whatever you've saved already. In the update, I don't really need to do that every single frame. That's right. But yeah, for now it's in the update. It's every 60 times every second it's doing this, or more depending on how fast this is actually running. So this is just setting the text to equal the score you have, and the coin text to just be coins plus the coins you have, etc. Then your score only goes up if you haven't been in the air for more than 4 seconds. Sorry, and that's your score. It goes up as you move. Yeah, as long as you're moving and you haven't been in the air for too long. If you're dead, set the game over text to true. If you're not dead, make sure it's turned off. If your score is greater than the highest score, and that's from the high scores thing, which stores the global high score, then give you the achievement champion. If your score is greater than or equal to 500, you're a high roller. If your score is greater than the local high score, yeah, you set the local high score to equal your score, and then you save it. And that's clearing your name, resetting game. Pretty simple. This is, it's called rotate around object because it's a prototype, but then it turned into my player class. So yeah, this is just technically player. And you've got your states, whether you're on your left side, right side, or none of the above. It's just I don't know, I kind of checked just in case it's not any of them for whatever reason. But yeah, I got some variables we're going to ignore. In the start, we set up the achievement manager, which is set up here to be equal to the achievement manager component. And if you are rotating around something, set your center to be equal to that, and stuff like that. The update's a bit more crazy. I've got the code for Unity standalone web player and the code for iOS. I also need to add a lot more code in here because I added the full main menu that I haven't fully coded in yet. So yeah, I'm just going to hide that for now because I'm only on computer at the moment. this is just making, like, because it counts a chain, like a ×1 chain is just landing on a planet, and I don't want it to tell you every time you land on a planet, so only if your chain count is greater than 1, it'll find the game manager and then just update everything for you. Checks for any chain achievements, so check for chain achievements is simply a function that first it checks if your chain count is less than 4, return. There's no point being in here if you haven't got higher than any of these. If it's not higher than 4, it's not higher than any of these, so get out. Also, then it checks this one, then this one, then this one, then this one, and then awards them accordingly. They were only in brackets because I thought I needed to do something that I didn't, but they can be taken out now. Just looks a bit nicer. Inside the update, basically, yeah, it does that. We've gone over that. M to rotate around is basically, it's every time you enter the orbit zone, it sets this variable to be equal to the thing you're orbiting, and if that isn't null, so if you are connected to something, if that is fulfilled with an item, which means you are orbiting an object, you're not in the air anymore, so reset it. This chunk of code's put simply rotates you around the object. I did that in there because I didn't want to go over it technically. It's just Unity, really helpful. It's pretty simple. So yeah, this was so this is how we shoot off the planet. We set it so you always look at the center of what you're orbiting. That way you're you can always shoot off with the same 2 separate lines of code. And then it resets your local, like, rotation so that you're not like, if you come in on a weird angle to the planet, you're not rotating with that weird angle set. It will reset that angle but keep you in that position, so it's good. Yeah, this was so you could, if you hit the left side of the planet, you would move to the left, but if you say you came in from the right, you'd rotate around to the right. The problem is, if you hit the left but you're coming down on an angle, then technically you want to go around the other way. So I need to check the states differently. This works, but it checks the left and right of the object you're orbiting. And if you come from side on, like say you're on the right side of it, and you come from side on and hit the top, you're going to go back the other way because it's checking left and right, whereas left, right, top, bottom, stuff like that. So it does work, but only under very specific circumstances. But yeah, this is the code for if you're not rotating around an object, so hence you're flying. Your time in air increases by delta time. Yeah, it checks your state and moves accordingly. So if you hit the left, if you came in at the left side, or your current state is left, you move to that. You move to the left. If it's right, you move to the right. It's just the code for doing that. Once you get enter, if you hit a cube is just an atom. It's labeled cube for whatever reason. This just sets up the logic for the cube, really. I feel like this is very long. Yeah. The untrigger exit means you don't have a chain anymore. The way I track chains is basically, if you're colliding with a cube and it hasn't been visited yet, like if you enter it and it hasn't been visited, it means your chain count can go up, and it sets it to true. So if you end up back at the one you started, it's not going to keep going up. That's why if you keep going back and forth, say you're going back and forth between 2, it's not going to keep going, it's just going to stop at 2. And yep, that's it. Then on trigger exit, you also check if you're exiting the cube. But if you exit the cube, but it says you enter an orbit zone before you exit, or as you're exiting you enter an orbit zone, that means you've chained. It checks if it's been visited, increases your chain count. And yeah, if you're not rotating around anything, then reset your chain count. And yeah, smooth camera 2D just follows your highest point reached. So if your position is greater than the highest point reached, update the camera follow. And yeah, that's about it. Yeah, that about covers it. That was a lot to cover, and I tried to keep it within 10 minutes, which I definitely failed. I'm in my registries because you can cheat. But if I don't delete these, and when I distribute the game, people will have the achievements. So yeah. Now that they've been deleted from my registries, you can see the achievements that were saved are no longer saved, which is good. I can keep testing, stuff like that. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed the update. If you stayed this far, you're a trooper. I wouldn't stay this far personally. I'd just skim through. But still, that's cool. Yeah, thanks for the people who've stuck around and were expecting videos. I appreciate it. So, see you around.